The coronavirus is about to impact this country in ways we have never seen before.
We are urging Americans to not travel.
It is spreading tonight. Rhode Island has confirmed its first case. 2 new cases in Seattle.
We're going to continue to see things go up.
All over the world, we're seeing the devastating impact of this invisible killer.
As of March 2020, the COVID-19 cloud covered the globe, while fear and uncertainty spread even faster than the virus.
These new CDC guidelines that were announced this week, no gatherings of more than 10 people for the next 15 days. You've said we can do anything for 15 days, but give it to us straight. Isn't this going to be longer than 15 days?
Across America, we look to our scientific leaders for answers, our public health leaders for guidance.
You keep distorting the truth. It is stunning how you do
Did you talk to any of the scientists privately?
Yes.
Who wrote the opinion? You did.
Well,
what were they telling you privately?
And our elected leaders for structure.
Andrew Cuomo's administration is under federal scrutiny for its handling of COVID-related fatality data at nursing homes.
We were asked to stay home for 2 weeks to stop the spread of the virus. While most of us were sheltering in place, everyday heroes stepped forward as essential workers. Nurses, doctors, first responders, whether it was police, fire, or EMTs, and even clerks at the grocery stores, truck drivers at the start of the supply chain, to our delivery men and women who brought our food and essentials to our doorstep. A nightly ritual started every evening of ringing bells, banging pots, or serenading from our balconies and windows to recognize these everyday heroes.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
However, political opportunists use the pandemic for their own warped agenda.
Not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
They began to pit Americans against each other and target the fractures of our society, including wounds that have been healing for generations. The predictable results of these radical policies had cities burning, and our streets became unsafe. As COVID-19 restrictions began to be lifted and schools were permitted to reopen, extremists used their position of power to leverage our parents and hold our kids hostage for a political agenda that had nothing to do with the pandemic.
Public schools should not reopen unless their demands are met, and the demands include implementing a moratorium on private schools, defunding police, increasing taxes on the wealthy, implementing Medicare for all.
It was during these moments of turmoil, the divide between local and national leaders who empowered their citizens and those who were corrupted by the absolute power they were given by the COVID-19 pandemic emerged.
You can bet your bottom dollar that keeping schools closed will exacerbate existing achievement gaps between demographic groups, lead to more kids dropping out of school, disproportionately impact the least economically affluent Floridians, foster more social isolation, depression, and anxiety, harm students with special needs, and deprive students of the ability to engage in sports and extracurricular activities.
Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. At the time of our country's founding, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson proposed term limits for elected officials. However, it was not incorporated into our Constitution.
In the past few days, however, it has become evident to me that I no longer have a strong enough political base in the Congress to justify continuing that effort.
The belief was unchecked lawmakers would become inattentive to the public good, callous, selfish, and the fountain of corruption. Americans saw these warnings firsthand during the pandemic. Even the good people in office, in time, imperceptibly lose sight of the people and gradually fall into the measures prejudicial to them. The permanent political class became unresponsive to its citizens. As John F. Kennedy once said, one person can make a difference, and everyone should try. Parents and everyday citizens began to take control of our schools and our streets.
The board adjourned the meeting. Only board member Mackenzie Daniels stayed behind to listen, and he got an earful.
As a parent, I speak to other parents. There's a few things that we don't want. I'm biracial, I'm bilingual, I'm multicultural. The fact is, in America, in North Carolina, I can do anything I want, and I teach that to my children. And the person who tells my little pecan-colored kids that they're somehow oppressed based on the color of their skin would be absolutely wrong and absolutely at war with me. And I think that's the same for every parent. What the mask showed us is that the parents, the most powerful group of people in our country, that they're taking back the wheel. Now, obviously, we had to take the wheel back for the mask, but we're taking the wheel back from Washington all the way to Raleigh and into our local school board.
Parents began asking a simple question.
Who's going to be the voice for me and my child?
¿Quién será la voz para mis hijos?
Who will be the voice for my grandchildren?
谁会代表我的孩子?
Who's going to be the voice for me and my child?
邊個可以代表我同我細路㗎?
The political movement to empower parents and empower our citizens now has a name: the Parent Party. The Parent Party is comprised of Democrats, Republicans, Independents, and many other citizens who weren't even politically active prior to the pandemic. As a society, we have the greatest obligation to generations who follow us by providing the tools they need to be healthy, wealthy, and wise in their minds, bodies, and spirits. In order to achieve the dream of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all, regardless of social class and circumstances of birth, our children need and are entitled to a free and appropriate public education. The Parent Party has a simple platform which we offer as the solution to many of these problems. Parent Party candidates take a simple pledge which empowers parents to take control of their child's education and empowers citizens to take control of our democracy and our streets. Parent Party candidates pledge to provide educational freedom and independence to parents so they can choose where their child goes to school, and the funds shall follow the child. Shifting the power from an unaccountable and failing system to parents will give the children their best chance of reaching their potential. In order to empower parents, there must be accountability and transparency, and Parent Party candidates support a thorough and full audit of the school system from academic to financial to personnel. Sunshine is the best disinfectant. Parent Party candidates support universal term limits for all elected officials, from school boards to president. Term limits will empower citizens to take back control of our democracy by limiting corruption and returning elected office as a public service and not a job, while bringing fresh ideas into the political system. Parent Party candidates support local law enforcement and oppose any efforts to defund the police. It doesn't matter what we do in our schools if our neighborhoods are not safe. We must empower our citizens to take back control of our streets. And in order to keep our communities secure, we must support our local police and not defund them. The American spirit has not been broken during the pandemic. A new day and awakening of our spirit has emerged. Join this national movement today. Go to parentparty.com today to register or call 309-PARENTS. That's 309-727-3687 and volunteer to be part of this national movement. With such parent empowerment comes good thoughts, good words, and good deeds to our children, allowing our society to bend closer to the arc of its true potential.